Okay, welcome. This is going to be our draft analysis for Moss Deep Pokemon Champions League Season 7. We're so grateful for everyone that signed up. We have 28 teams this time around, so there's going to be a lot to talk about. And here is our panel. So first we have Taylan, we have
Hi.
Josh, and we have Freddie.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hey.
We are going to be our panel. We're going to go through each team. We're going to look at a few different parameters and sort of thoughts and feelings for each team. So we're going to be looking at offense, defense, your hazard setting and removing, your sort of momentum and pivot options, and also just our general thoughts and feelings. So, we ready? Ready to crack open this sort of, I don't know where I was going with that metaphor. Let's just jump right in.
We ready to open this can of orthworms?
Oh yeah, that's where I was going with that. Okay, so let's start. I need to actually stream. That would be great. Can we all see that?
Yes, I can see
Yeah.
that.
Brilliant. So, I mean, we're going to look at conference space first in Division 1. And I need to shut up for a bit because this is my team on the chopping block. So, yeah, say what you want, guys.
All right. So to me, this is a very balanced team. Offensively, you've got some really strong options. Like attack is the highest average stat. Things like Mega Sizzle, Thunderous, Decidueye, they're gonna hit hard. I feel like there could be a bit more fast offense on the special side apart from Thunderous, but you've definitely got options. Defensively, this is a team I think that will excel. Slowking and Umbreon are incredibly hard to break, even with like specs and choice band users. So it's going to have to force players to kind of think about them. The team doesn't really have any main weaknesses. Umbreon has like wish support, which is great for passing. There's a lot of general bulk. And in terms of hazards, there's not too many setters, but Mudsdale is a very solid stealth boxer. Like it's on the field, it's going to get stealth. And there is a lot of defoggers on this team. Things like Crobat and Decidueye are pretty good defoggers, especially with like Roost. They'll stay on the field for a long time. They can hazard with it. There isn't a spinner, but it's not really a big issue because you've got all the defoggers, and because you're not really like spike stacking with this team, you don't really worry about defogging your own hazards away as much.
Yeah, I did kind of build with defense in mind when I was going for it.
Yeah.
Halen, have you got any thoughts?
No, nothing else really that Josh hasn't said. I really like the defensive and defensive potential of this team. It's really freeing in how you can run it for each match, which I personally think is a sign of a very good team when you can run it in tons of different ways, depending on who you're against.
Nice. Freddie, do you have any thoughts you want to share?
Nothing to add on. I think you guys have summed it up really nicely.
Yeah, obviously this is my team. I wanted to sort of go for a bulky balance build, and I think I've done that. But the proof will be in the pudding. So we'll see how I do throughout the season. Okay, next up on the block, we have the Holbury Honedge Lords. Josh, you want to talk us through a little bit of what your thoughts were when you were ranking this team?
My thought is it's another kind of bulky balance team, quite similar to yours, I'd say. Things like Rotom, Wash, and Sylveon and Aegislash make a very good core of resists, each of which are very bulky. Sylveon obviously has Wish Passing. Kamal is also a secondary Wish Passer, so there is a lot of longevity on this team, like Gastrodon Recover. So there's a good level of general bulk, I'd say. Offensively, there are some threats, things like Flamigo, like a Sceptile, and obviously Aegislash. I think Aegislash can be hard to use, but if it's used right, it's like excels offensively and defensively. Well, I think it's just a quite a solid balanced team.
There's definitely a lot of offense. Some of it isn't that fast though. So things like Aegislash and Sylveon, and even offensive Rotom if you want to use it, they're gonna hit really hard. But it has the Fire and Mega Sceptile that are fast, but a lot of the team is fairly slow. But I think it's still gonna hit really hard. And as you said, it's quite well balanced. It's quite a well built draft. And there's good utility options with Kamala, Gastrodon, with Fire. And then yeah, I think it's quite a good team. Anything to add?
Um, oh, sorry, I was going to say Rotom Wash. That's going to be one to look out for this season. You can use it as a tank, as a nice little pivot with a Volt Switch, or just click Nasty Plot and press Hydro Pump.
It does work. And Aegislash as well is very similar. So like if you're gonna break down both of those, like what do you even bring?
I feel like this team also has pretty good hazards between like Gastrodon Stealth Rock, Skuntank Toxic Spikes. It also has Gastrodon Spikes as well. Like it works quite well as a spike stacking team.
Yeah, and Shuckle's got sticky webs as well if you want to run that.
I was gonna say that really opens up some of your offensive options. Particularly Flamigo loves sticky webs.
Yeah.
And if you want to run a hazard stacking team, you can just run Kamala for rapid spin instead of any defog options.
Brilliant. Now this I think the next one is one of the most interesting teams we've ever seen. This is an actually viable Trick Room team that I think is gonna devastate people.
It is very good. I mean, offensively, the pure power, like under Trick Room, Mega Mawile, Astray, even Jagalgi, like they hit really hard. And what I like about this team as well is it has options like outside of Trick Room. Like it's like some Trick Room teams are too like, how do I win under Trick Room? But this team has enough general bulk between Hat as its setter and like Mukalola, and it has like Electro, Talonflame as real pivots. So I feel like it's not going to be easily exploited for being a Trick Room team.
Yeah, it's got enough speed as well that like you still have to worry because Talonflame and Electrode are such good pivots that even when Trick Room isn't up, you're still worrying about maneuvering around the team. I think as well on top of that, just it Magic Bounce is a huge deal. So this team's really hard to chip down because you can
Yeah,
sort of
just the
block away anything that's, threatening you, and then there's decent setting options. Actually, that's a bit of a weakness of the team if I look at it. Claydol is your only real rock setter, and
yeah
Claydol's probably not going to come most weeks, which is a bit of a detriment, but I think overall this team is still really powerful.
hazard control was the weakest link of this team. I saw when I looked at it.
Yeah,
Apart from that, I think it's a very good Trick Room offensive team with some very nice anti-stall options like Alola, Muck, and Hatterene to prevent bulkier Pokemon from just trying to take the hits.
Any final thoughts? Guess not. I guess we'll move on. Jubilife Jigglypuffs, great job. And by the way, guys, we'll release this document out later if you want to have a read. I know I'm kind of skipping over some of the commentary, but we got a motor because we got a lot of teams to get through. This, the Hydra Empire, I have mixed feelings about this team because it does some things really, really well and some things really not that well. Josh, you'll kind of want to explain why I think we've got similar opinions on this.
I'd say, I mean, like offensively, this team is definitely one of the best in the conference. Like Kartana, Mega Beedrill, Misha, pretty much they have a lot of fast hard hitters, which is good to have. I'd say a lot of them are physical, especially like in the top four. There's not too much special wise. So offensively, this team is really good. Defensively, I'd say there are a few weaknesses. Like there's things like Cortana really spell freshly, really frail, especially. Mega Beedrill's pretty frail. So Blissey and Bellybolt are kind of your main defensive mons. But I feel like
Yeah,
the problem with Correct.
physically as well, like your best defensive option is Kartana, and you never really want to use that as your physical defense.
I feel like it opens you up to fighting types as well, because neither Blissey nor Cortana can really take fighting type attacks.
And Bravery can a little bit, but
Oh
that
yeah,
really
agree.
does it concentrates all your defensive options. So you're never going to really run offensive Bravery with this team because I don't think you can fit it.
Yeah, and I think you also need it as a defogger as well, because Mega Beedrill and Cortana are the only other hazard removal, and you don't really want to be running defog on them. So Braviary is kind of like a dedicated defogger, really. So it's got to be used defensively, like you said.
Taylan, Freddie, what do you think about this team?
I think it would be quite interesting to see how they utilize the speed because yeah, you mentioned they've got quite a lot of fast, hard hitting Pokemon.
Yeah, it's definitely an offensive play style. Like if they can get that to work, then this team can go hard, but it's just whether they can be offensive enough to make it work.
There's also the Blissey who's got high HP, so they could tank hits if needs be.
Yeah, Blissey is all the special defense you need for a team.
Yeah,
Even Focus Blasts
Yeah.
aren't taking it out, you know?
Yeah, this team is very much one that I really, really want to like. There's so many parts of it I really like. I just feel like hazards are going to be a really big issue when your only viable removal option really is Braviary.
Yeah, and the
Because
team doesn't have
Cortana's
a
not going to run defog, and Beedrill's not going to run defog.
it really needs a good ground type. So what I would do is I would take Linoon out and just switch it out for a good bulky ground type. Something like a Mudsdale or a Sandaconda. I know they're gone already, but something of that ilk really improves this team and would make it like top tier.
Yeah, I think one more supportive tier 4 would just make the team incredible.
yeah.
Brilliant. Now we're on to the sub-seed sadists. This team is interesting because it's our first kind of, well, second kind of gimmick team. We've got electric terrain with Holucha, but also this team just hits hard.
Yeah, and the thing is, this team, like, look at the speed test. This team is incredibly fast. Like, more than
Yeah.
half of its members are above 100. And with how hard hitting and fast it is, this team still has very good bulk. Like, Swampert, Chestnut, Tentacles, like, it pretty much does everything really well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
You've got Coco for fast pivot, you've got Holucha for potential setup sweeps, you've got Mega Houndoom as just a wall breaker, Tentacle for spin and hazards as well as taking hits. There's so many Pokemon that can do so many things on this team.
If anything, I had to say, one weakness I see is that a lot of the team is weak to Stealth Rock, a lot of the offensive options. Holucha, Houndoom, Cryogonal, Driftblim, and that could be an issue for them.
Yeah, I mean, Tentacle's a good rapid spinner.
Like, they have a lot of hazard removal options.
And it's flipping good because this team needs it.
Yeah, because like Boots, Coco, Defog, that's it.
That's a strat.
Yeah. It's also kind of similar to the Trick Room team, how it's not too all in on the electric terrain strategy. So like teams can't counter build like Ice Spinner and stuff, which ruins the team. Like this team functions in and out of the terrain.
Especially because Holucha isn't needed every week, just the way it's been built. There's plenty of offense without Holucha. And Driftblim is good because it can fulfill several different modes here. It can be an unburden sort of wall breaker, or it can be utility. So I think it's quite well built in that regard.
Yeah. The other thing I noticed about this team is its momentum is very good. This team has a lot of very good pivoting options between fast and slow volt switch and Swampert flip turn.
Definitely, it can definitely sort of maneuver itself around, and then once Mega Houndoom or Unburden Holucha are in the right place, it's just Jova.
Yeah.
Any last thoughts on the subseed status? Brilliant. Making good time. The cast form. Now, this team isn't fully up to date. There have been some trades since, but we're just going to look at the draft as it was at the start.
Yeah, so I'd say this team is offensively really good. Obviously, like you said, this team doesn't have Kyurem anymore, but Urshifu fits a similar vibe.
Urshifu Rapid is just the Pokemon that clicks buttons to do damage all of the time.
Oh yeah, but like with Urshifu's of Kyurem and things like Swellow, Toxicroak, even Mega Steelix hits. So like pretty much everything on this hits hard. So I think it does very well offensively. There are some good defense options like Snorlax, Suicune, Mega Steelix. They've all got some good pull, and they can run like rest sets as well on Snorlax and Suicune.
And Bulky
Has it?
Celebi.
Yeah.
Fighting is a
because
bit of fighting's a bit of an issue, defensively, just because Mega Steelix and Snorlax are both the tanks, which is why I think Spiritomb being on the team is actually huge, and I think people have been
yeah.
sleeping on that.
Yeah. And the trades that got made have improved the fighting matchup a lot more. In
Oh, yeah.
particular, the addition of Celebi.
Yeah, I think so. Celebi works really well.
It's weird because this is an offensive team kind of masquerading as a balanced team because
Yeah,
Yeah.
Snorlax and Mega Steelix are both really hard hitters.
Oh yeah. Curse is very threatening in every game.
So this team, if it can just out offense break one or two powerful like walls the opponent has, it could just roll with it. Once the ground type is out of the way, Regieleki just cleans.
and then Spider Up Sticky Webs is a pretty nice option as well.
So yeah,
'Cause, like, if
overall
you
I
get,
really like this team.
And it's one of the few teams that actually drafted a mascot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Takes balls to do that, and cast form did that.
Yeah, I think also with Reggie Lecky, since he's more or less guaranteed to go first in most matchups, I've seen Reggie Lecky set up screens really nicely. So setting up screens and then pivoting into Mega Steelix. That Steelix is going to be around for a while.
It gives really good setup opportunities. Kyurem likes that. Toxicroak likes that. Snorlax likes that. Suicune likes it. There's actually a lot of setup sweepers in this team.
Yeah.
I think they've done a really good job with this team. I'm interested to see how they do with it. There are a few weaknesses, but I think their trades have really improved the team overall, switching Celebi for Suicune and Kyurem for Urshifu. And that wraps it up for
Well, there's one that we still need to look at.
well,
Conference space.
so this is Josh's analysis. This isn't the right one.
I'm not going to be biased and rate my own team. So
Okay, well, so I don't have it in Bullhawk, but we can still talk about the Goldenrod Judo. Sorry, I can't pronounce that today. It's been a long day. This
It's
team
in
is
the ballpark that
crazy.
I sent you.
Is it? Let's see.
In the conference space ones.
Conference space. I don't think I have that up. I'll just do it from the master doc. This team is crazy balanced. It has just a bit of everything. Dragapult and Zora make it that the offense is just crazy. Dragapult can be physical and special, which makes it really hard to team build, especially if it's probably a Zoroark and you think it's a Dragapult. Heat walls out an awful lot of the game, and between Heat and Empoleon, you've got a really good defensive core there. Sandaconda and Florges just increase that even further. Type-wise, nothing breaks through most of these as a combination.
Yeah, this is a really well-balanced team defensively as far as defensive type coverage goes.
Wish passing is good, lots of pivots. It's really hard to break, but also offensively, it just goes crazy.
Yeah, Dragapult and Zoroark Hisui's an offensive are very threatening. But it's not just that. Even the bulkier Pokemon on this team can hit hard in good matchups. And bulky Empoleon's still threatening. Bulky Rotom's still threatening. And Scrafty, Sandaconda, and Florges can both hit very hard with their stabs, even if they're being run defensively. This is a team that will be simultaneously very hard to break while also very threatening to what you're trying to break it with.
And it could also hazard stack quite well with Quillfish and Sandaconda. It's got good options.
Yeah, this team has nice hazard control.
If anything, I'd say it's a criticism. Tier 5s, just on a quick look, I don't really see where they fit as much. I guess they're just to bulk out the typings. Swordsbuck could be a decent tech choice.
Yeah, I guess it's if you want a fast physical attacker, but you don't want to run physical Dragapult.
Okay, it's kind of just there for like your Swamperts and Seismitoads and Gastrodons, I guess.
Yeah.
But overall, one of the better teams. I am very excited to see how they do this season. Josh, you've done a great job. You want to say any comments about your team?
I think you summed it up pretty well. Like I said, Zoroark on a team is always going to be scary, and I think there's a lot of disguise, Pokemon that work well disguise, like Dragapult, Scrafty, even like Swordsbuck was kind of meant to be as like a fighting weak disguise potential.
Oh.
And I also come in a grass type on the team because like you want like spore move immunity. But no, pretty much I think you summed it up well.
Yeah, we've got some Conference Space has some really good drafts, so it'll be a very fierce competition this season, guaranteed.
Yeah, every team in Conference Space looks really good.
And obviously, there's some that we like more than others, but they're all good enough that if that fits your play style, you could easily do well. Like even the teams we don't like as much, like you can still play really well with them and do really, really incredible things. They've got the potential.
Yeah, all the teams in this conference are really scary.
Yeah,
there are no bad teams here.
Like pretty much every team can beat every team.
Definitely. Right. Well, that wraps it up for Conference Space. Thank you for joining us.